Grab 1 imposed in Delhi NCR as air quality dips. Supreme Court meanwhile allows green crackers in National Capital Region for Diwali under strict rules. Family of Haryana's deceased IPS officer allows autopsy and cremation 8 days on. Second police officer's family now demands an FIR against the wife of Shivakumar. Fierce social media tussle between Karnataka government and corporate honchos over poor infrastructure in the IT capital. DK Shivakumar lashes out at Kiran Mazumdar's show. Prominent US analyst of Indian origin and long-time advisor on South Asia policy arrested for allegedly hoarding classified documents and meeting Chinese government officials. Kerala government backs student in Hijab row, overrules Latin Catholic school's order, cites right to education. BJP slams appeasement by the left government. Protests outside the jail by Zubin Garg's fans turns violent. Stones pelted at a police van. Cars set ablaze. Pakistani and Afghan forces engage in fierce cross-border clashes. Reports of civilian casualties emerged from both sides. Situation remains tense. Ahead of Diwali, which is just around the corner, the Supreme Court today has now given its approval to the sale and bursting of green crackers in the National Capital Region from the 18th to the 21st of October. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta has now welcomed the Supreme Court's order, calling it a balance between culture and environment, also lashing out at its predecessors, the Aam Aadmi Party. Meanwhile, air pollution continues to remain a concern, since air quality has now dropped to 211, putting it in the poor category. Grab 1 has now been activated. The Graded Response Action Plan enforces measures like mandatory dust control at construction sites and deploying anti-smog guns to combat pollution.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आया है ग्रीन क्रैकर पर, उस पर क्या कहना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि आपकी ओर से ये एप्लीकेशन दी गई?
मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ माननीय कोर्ट का, जिन्होंने करोड़ों लोगों की भावनाओं का ध्यान रखते हुए इस महापर्व दिवाली के मौके पे जो हमारा एक पारंपरिक भावनाओं से जुड़े हुए पटाखे थे उनको सम्मान दिया। दिल्ली सरकार के निवेदन पे आपने ये अनुग्रह स्वीकार किया और हम भी ये समझते हैं परंपरा और पर्यावरण दोनों को जोड़ते हुए हम दिल्ली का ध्यान रखें।
पिछले लंबे समय से दिल्ली के अंदर, एनसीआर के अंदर दीपावली के पावन पर्व पे एनसीआर को और दिल्ली को पटाखों से वंचित रखा जाता था। माननीय दिल्ली की मुख्यमंत्री रेखा गुप्ता जी ने माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास अपना आग्रह भेजा दिल्ली की सरकार के रूप में, और ये बताया कि हम चाहते हैं कि दिल्ली के अंदर ग्रीन क्रैकर्स को अलाउ करना चाहिए, जिससे पोल्यूशन भी कम हो और धर्म की आस्था का भी ध्यान रहे। मैं इस ऑर्डर का स्वागत करता हूं।
देखिए, बहुत स्वागत योग्य निर्णय है माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय का, और बहुत बहुत आभार और अभिनंदन दिल्ली की मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमती रेखा गुप्ता जी का कि उन्होंने दिल्ली की जनता की आवाज़ को सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने रखा। ये काम पिछली सरकार भी कर सकती थी। आज ये साबित हो गया कि केजरीवाल सरकार जानबूझकर हिंदुओं के त्योहारों पर बैन लगाने का पाप करती थी। पहली बार सरकार बदली है और सरकार बदलते ही दिवाली पर बैन लगना बंद हो गया है। ग्रीन क्रैकर वाली दिवाली वैसी ही दिवाली जैसी परंपरागत तरीके से हमेशा मनाते थे।
ग्रीन क्रैकर्स जलाने की अनुमति सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तरफ से दी गई है। मनोज जी,
ये समाचार सिर्फ दिल्ली ही नहीं बल्कि पूरे देश के सनातनियों के लिए बहुत खुशी का समाचार है, और यही भाव समझाने के लिए हम पिछले 11 साल से प्रयास कर रहे हैं। और उस 11 साल में आप समझ सकते हैं, मैं खुद कोर्ट गया था और हमें वहाँ से निराशा मिली, और निराशा में एक जो स्टेटमेंट था माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का कि इसमें स्थानीय गवर्नमेंट की रिकमेंडेशन चाहिए। क्या है? और स्थानीय गवर्नमेंट की रिकमेंडेशन पटाखों पे पूर्णबंद का था।
हमारी मुख्यमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि इस बार दिल्ली को बिना पटाखों के दिवाली नहीं मनाने देंगे। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी हमारे प्रयासों को सराहा है और दिल्ली में जो सरकार द्वारा प्रदूषण को ख़त्म करने के लिए कदम उठाए हैं, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी आज, मैं उनके सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले का स्वागत करता हूं। बहुत ही अच्छा फैसला दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए आया है। अब बिना किसी टेंशन के, बिना किसी चिंता के सभी हम जो है ग्रीन पटाखे जलाएंगे और अपनी दिवाली को और भी सुंदर मनाएंगे।
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो निर्णय आया है कि ग्रीन क्रैकर्स की अनुमति दी जाएगी, उसका हम स्वागत करते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी लगातार इस पक्ष में थी कि दिवाली पर पटाखे चलने चाहिए, बच्चों को अपनी संस्कृति और अपने कल्चर का ज्ञान भी होना चाहिए। लेकिन दिल्ली में अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार ऐसी सरकार थी जो जानबूझकर कोर्ट के सामने गलत तथ्य रखती थी, जिससे कोर्ट ये निर्णय देता था कि पटाखे नहीं जलेंगे। आज दिल्ली में एक सनातन प्रेमी सरकार है जिसने कोर्ट के सामने सही पक्ष रखा और जिसका ये परिणाम है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ग्रीन क्रैकर्स चलाने की अनुमति दी है।
My colleague Shrishti now joins us. She's been reporting in Punjab, getting us a sense of what exactly the situation is as far as stubble burning goes, because this is festival season, Shrishti, but unfortunately for the National Capital Region, it's also pollution season. What are the scenes like in Sangrur in Punjab this time around?
Yes, so this is the season when the air quality across northwest India starts to deteriorate, and there are multiple reasons for it. The temperature conditions also play a very important role, but a significant part this time is that stubble burning, which also contributes to the worsening of the air quality this time, is far too low across Punjab. We travelled across various districts here. Now Punjab has seen the flood fury. Crops over 3 lakh acres of land were destroyed. Now in Sangrur district, the unseasonal rains also had an impact. We have some farmers with us जिनसे हम बात करेंगे who told us कि इस बार हार्वेस्टिंग काफ़ी स्लो हुई है। सर, इस बार जीरी काफ़ी स्लो कटी है, बारिशों का भी नुकसान हो गया काफ़ी।
बहुत ज़्यादा जी, बहुत ज़्यादा है। जी बारिश का नहीं पता लग्या जी, ऐतकी तो कोई पता ही नहीं लग्या भी किहड़ी बीमारी पै गई जीरी नूं किहड़ी नहीं। कदी अज दा 75 साल की उम्र हो गई, तुहानूं दस्सिया इहो जिहा चांस कदे होया ही नहीं। ऐतकी जी बीमारी पई है, ਇਹਦਾ ਤੇ कदे सुपने 'ਚ भी नहीं देखी भी इस तरह का काम होएगा।
तो जीरी की कटाई अभी कुछ 20% ही हुई है सर, अभी जितने नॉर्मली पिछले साल से कंपेयर।
बस जी जीरी अद्ध दे गेड़ पड़ गया काम जी, बस को 2-4 दिनों का काम हो रह गया बस कोई माड़ी मोटी पिछेतियाँ पछूतियाँ पौधा पूधा वालियाँ रह गई ने।
तो इतना नुकसान हुआ है, तो इस बार पराली जलने को दिखेगी क्या आपको लगता है क्या पंजाब में?
ਜੀਰੀ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਦਰਤੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੜ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹੇ ਨੇ ਜੀ, ਬਾਰਡਰ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹੇ ਨੇ, ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਖੇਤਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਹਿਸ ਨਹਿਸ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਜੀ। ਇੱਧਰ ਤਾਂ ਬਚੇ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਵੀ। ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਹਰਿਆਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਬਾਰਡਰ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਆਪਣਾ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਖੜੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹ ਲਾਸਟ ਪਿੰਡ ਨੇ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਪਟਿਆਲਾ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਦੇ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡਕਾਲਾ ਕੰਸਟੀਚੁਐਂਸੀ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਇਹ ਕੰਸਟੀਚੁਐਂਸੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਖੇਤਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਣ ਜੀਰੀ ਦੀ ਕਟਾਈ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ 40 ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ 40% ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਟਾਈ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਵੈਸੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਗ ਦਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੌਲਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਣ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗਾਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਝੋਨੇ ਦੇ ਫੂਸ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ, ਵੀ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਸੀਜ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਾ ਮਾਤਰ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਤੇ ਭੁੱਲ ਭੁਲੇਖੇ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਚਾਣਚੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਹਾਦਸਾ ਵਾਪਰਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਗ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਅੱਗ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ 'ਚ ਨੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਵਾਤਾਵਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ बहुत चिंतित ने, पर ऐतकी बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब कि ਜਿਹੜੀ चेतनता ही है जी किसानों के ਵਿੱਚ।
तो ये पंजाब के किसान जो कहते हैं सर पराली जलाते हैं हर साल, हवा खराब हो जाती है, तो इस बार तो नुकसान बढ़ा है, तो क्या कहते हैं?
जलाएंगे जी, ऐतकी कुछ
ऐतकी तो वही फूक गई है जी, अग लाने तो बिनी फूक गई है ऐतकी की अग लानी है किसी ने। ऐतकी अद्ध तो जीरी का अद्धो ज़्यादा तो ਉਂਝ फूक गई है।
ਝਾੜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦਿੱਕਤ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਮਦਰ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਚੈਨੀ ਵਾਇਰਸ, ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਬੈਂਕਮਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਜੀ। ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ 5 ਏਕੜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੋਂ 5 ਟਰਾਲੀਆਂ ਭਰਨੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਜੀ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜੀ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਨਿਕਲਿਆ ਝਾੜ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ?
8 ਏਕੜ ਚੋਂ 1 ਟਰਾਲੀ ਭਰੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ, 8 ਏਕੜਾਂ ਚੋਂ 1 ਜਾਂ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਦੀਆਂ 4 ਟਰਾਲੀਆਂ।
ਮੈਂ ਕੱਲ 5 'ਚ 1 ਭਰ ਕੇ ਲਿਆ ਜੀ।
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਝਾੜ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਪੱਧਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਬਲ ਮਾਰ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ।
So the farmers have been telling us that this time the crop loss was such that there is not even a question of stubble burning because the fields are wet, the crop has a lot of moisture in it, and that is why the data from the satellite imagery also suggests that the number of stubble burning incidents compared to last year has drastically dropped. but the harvesting is set to pick in the next 2 weeks. So that is why the contribution of stubble burning to Delhi's air quality so far is very, very, very low.
But unfortunately, the quality of air in the national capital is already in the poor category. GRAP 1 is in effect from today. For the moment though, Shrishti, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. We will keep a track of what exactly transpires in the national capital, especially now during Diwali season, during those 4-day period that we are going to be seeing green crackers also being allowed to be burst. That note coming in from the Supreme Court today. Will that actually have any impact on the air quality in the national capital, and what will be the steps taken by the state government to ensure that if there is any effect, then that's mitigated? Let's listen in to some more reactions. In fact, we are shifting focus to some breaking news that's coming in. The BJP has released its second list of candidates for the upcoming Bihar elections. Noteworthy is that newest entrant Maithili Thakur is now got a ticket, is going to be contesting on a BJP ticket from Alinagar in the Darbhanga district. Payal, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Payal, the ticket that she has got from the BJP is from Alinagar. It's one of those 2 districts that comprise of Mithilanchal. The BJP, of course, banking on not just the star power, but also to get the young voter on her back.
Well, absolutely. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message, Poonam, in this election has been very clear that this election is going to be all about MY, which is not about the Muslim and the Yadav combination, but the Mahila and the Yuva combination that the Prime Minister has spoken about often as well. And Maithili Thakur, a singer turned politician now, who joined the BJP recently, will be holding this in good stead as well. And also, Anand Singh, who of course had contested the Lok Sabha election as an independent candidate from Buxar, he also finds his name in the list, and he'll be contesting the election on a BJP ticket as well. So the BJP, in fact, going ahead with this announcement, they announced 71 seats just about, a day or something ago as well, and now they have announced 12 seats, which clearly means that out of 101 seats, the other Saffron party is going to contest. 83 have already been declared. So BJP going ahead as per the plan as well. Today JDU has also declared its first list of candidates. So the NDA pretty much on track, while we have not heard any updates as far as the opposition camp is really concerned, but like you really mentioned, the writing is pretty much on the wall that it has to be an election which has to be won with a very, very handsome margin. That's something that everybody will strive towards, given the fact that all these alliances are contesting together for the first time, whether it's Chirag Paswan's party or JDU fighting together in one frame, and of course Upendra Kushwaha and Jiten Ammaji's party also joining ranks with the BJP. So it's a Maha alliance that you've seen in Bihar this time around.
And speaking of Maithili Thakur, it is important because she just joined the BJP a couple of days ago. She had said that she'll play whatever role that the BJP wants her to play, and the BJP had pretty much decided what that role is going to be for her to make her electoral debut. She was also recently, by the Prime Minister, she did receive the Cultural Ambassador of the Year award as well. So that's something that the BJP is trying to send out a message that even if they are new entrants, they are people that are rooted to the ground, and that's what the BJP is banking on.
Well, of course, Maithili Thakur comes in from the region. She's risen from the region and has been a child prodigy, many years ago as well. And she's in fact found this opportunity to in fact show her election prowess. Like she's been mentioning that she very humbly accepts the party's decision, whatever it may be in terms of what they expect of her. But there are 2 important messages that are being sent over here by nominating Maithili Thakur. A, to show that the girls and the women power of Bihar will continue to be important as well, and the youth power will be important, because Maithili would be, if I'm not wrong, lesser than 30 years of age. So she fills both the brackets as well. And she actually, fills in a lot of brackets, given the fact that culture and of course artists are welcome all over the entire country, no less being, people from their own region. For example, Manoj Tiwari has been somebody who comes in from Bihar. He's been able to shine throughout, not just in Bihar, but also in Delhi as well. So that is something that the BJP has always been open to.
What about the rest of the candidates in the second list? Payal, any surprises, any shocks there?
Well, we are still trying to get the details in terms of, what the surprises, etc. have been, but the BJP has pretty much been on target setting up their own candidates. Like I said that, Anand Singh was, he's a police officer turned politician as well. He contested the election from Buxar on his own independently. He joined the BJP in the month of August this year as well. He's found a ticket as well. So the BJP, so far he's not seen any people coming out and really protesting or, demanding why the seats have been cut, etc. So it seems that everybody's been on board as far as this is really concerned.
Right. Payal, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. Moving on now to some more news coming in. This is a follow-up from the new EPFO rules, which allowed 100% withdrawal that came into the fore. Labour Ministry has now clarified that 25% minimum balance requirement is something that was contested, that there were questions that were raised on. The Labour Ministry has gone on to say that this is to ensure that a substantial amount is available with the PF account holder at the time of retirement. The Labour Ministry has gone on to say that these concerns are completely misleading of how much one can withdraw and how much one cannot. So a fact sheet, so to say, has been put out by the central government to bust all those myths or all those concerns that have been doing the rounds, especially on social media. Pallavi, I believe, is now with us on this broadcast, getting us more details. Pallavi, what more can you tell us? A, what is this clarification and what prompted the clarification in the first place?
So, Poonam, there has been a lot of attacks coming in from the opposition parties, and all of them have been accusing the government of selling out the money or the savings of, say, those who have lost their jobs or those who have saved the money and their salary as a part of the Provident Fund. There was one particular clause which talked about 25% of the money which is going to remain in your PF account, and that was being read by the opposition parties as shortchanging, which said that why can't you have access to 100% of your money in the Provident Fund? The government essentially and the Labour Ministry has given a rebuttal to that, a point-by-point rebuttal. One, the entire idea of a Provident Fund is that you are taken care of, one, when you don't have a job, second, when you have retired or when you're transitioning from one job to another. Now, if someone goes in and withdraws the entire money randomly on small issues, one, it may bring a break as far as the employment or new employment is concerned, because Poonam, there was a feeling among the Labour Ministry that many were actually misusing the facility of taking advance. This 25% is something which is going to take care of them. The second point on which there was a lot of politics was being done is that 100% of it, you have to wait for at least a year before you get the 100% of your PF. Government has clarified that is not really the case. You have to wait first for 2 months, but after the end of the year, you can get the entire 100%. So your money is safe with you. The entire reason for the 25% saving is as a kind of a social security scheme to ensure that in your old age or when you're not having a job, when there is an emergency, you are able to utilize this money till the last day. And also the big point over here is that there have been many subsections. Now it's easier for you to take advance, whatever may be the reason, whether it's an illness, whether it's a marriage, or even if you're trying to buy a house.
So those rules have been liberalized, so to say. Given that this is festival season, we are hoping, or at least the government is hoping, that this does put more money in the hands of the people. That will bring respite to middle class, low middle class especially, and of course will eventually spur the economy as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I think the easing of the clauses, especially when it comes to people wanting to take advance in case of a marriage, in case they want to buy a house. Now, what happens is marriage, incurs expenditure, but it also adds on to the growth of the economy. People are going to buy jewelry, for that matter, electronics, cars or whatever. And as far as buying a house, that's a huge infrastructural investment. When you make that process easy, what you are also helping is to build up of the economy. The cyclical pattern of demand and supply is addressed. So it's a long-term goal. The government has clarified, the Labour Minister has clarified very, very clearly that one, it is not that we are taking away your money, we are also ensuring a social security, but at the same time, we are also ensuring a ease of living so that your money can be accessed easily by you in terms of taking an advance.
Right, Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us that clarification and putting that in perspective for us. In fact, there were several claims that were made from opposition ranks about what the government really was trying to do and the intention behind liberalizing these EPFO withdrawal norms. But now the EPFO president has defended this decision of a mandate of a minimum 25% balance. It is called a prudent and balanced step to protect long-term retirement savings. In fact, CNBC TV 18's Timsi Jaipuria spoke with the Central Provident Fund Commissioner Ramesh Krishnamurthy. Listen in.
Government has now allowed members to withdraw up to 100% of their PF amount, covering both employee and employer's contribution. What are the conditions? What is the rationale behind this move, sir?
Thank you for having me on this program. The Central Board of Trustees, headed by the Union Minister for Labour and Employment, Mr. Mansukh Mandviya, yesterday on 13th, took the decision to simplify partial withdrawal claims, which under EPF, to a great extent. Mostly because there were over 13 different conditions covering education, marriage, housing, and other special circumstances, which were complex in the sense that they had different eligibility criteria in terms of minimum service, in terms of how much people could withdraw. Sometimes it was a multiplier of their basic wage. Sometimes it was the amount of cost involved in purchase of a house, for example, or in terms of their balance, so either 50% or 75% of their balances. All this was creating a lot of confusion in the minds of the members. So what was felt was that let us make it easy for people to access their own PF money in times of financial need, but at the same time protect their PF for their long-term social security requirements. As you are aware, India is a young country, but all the youth who are going to retire, who are now coming into the work, are going to retire in 2055, 2060. So unless and until we plan for proper social security protection in times of their retirement, then they'll have less of a corpus to be available. So that is why a concept of a minimum balance of 25% was visualized. And that has been kept away as a minimum lock-in balance. Rest of the 75% is freely accessible up to, so if 100% of that is accessible by the member, and as I said, for illness 3 times a year, for education 10 times during the membership, for housing and marriage, including their own marriage for a youth or their children in future or for their siblings 5 times, and for their housing needs about 5 times. Apart from that, what we have done is that we have eliminated.
Let me break you out there. The Central Board of Trustees also.
With that, it's time for a quick break here on this edition. But news and updates continue on CNN News 18. Don't go anywhere.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
We're learning that Supreme Court has begun pronouncing its judgment on the green cracker row. Do remember, we've seen clearly a divide on green crackers, a mix of anticipation, anxiety that's gripped Delhi. Supreme Court hinting that it may allow the sale of green crackers in the city just a week before Diwali, and that pronunciation has begun of the judgment. We're learning that the CGI said we've considered the submissions by Solicitor General and we have to take a balanced approach. Those are the first few comments that are coming in from CGI Gawai. The court is delivering its verdict. Many residents, remember, welcome the prospects of fireworks returning to the skies. They've called it an essential part of festive celebrations. There is another section, like I said, that's expressed concerns that weak enforcement could once again pave the way for regular, more polluting and noisier crackers, and it'll turn the city into a gas chamber and a boombox. Now, do remember, this also coincides very interestingly with the AQI picking up. The AQI in parts of the National Capital Region has crossed 200 and above. And that's a concern that National Capital Region residents are currently staring at. Comes this judgment by the Supreme Court? The verdict is being pronounced as we speak. The verdict essentially is around green crackers and whether they can be sold during the Diwali festivities in the national capital. The CGI makes the first few observations. CGI Gawai says we have to take a balanced approach. We've considered the submissions by the Solicitor General. Now, there are green activists who are also speaking or who've broken their silence on this. The permission, if at all, is granted by the tone and tenor of the CGI. This is going to bring back the bursting of crackers within the legal ambit for Diwali, for perhaps other festivals like Gurpurab and Christmas as well. And this is going to happen after 5 long years. Green firecrackers, remember, bring that entire debate back to what it means for air pollution and how limited is really the consequence of this. They're designed to emit 20 to 30% less particulate matter than conventional ones, but the concerns still come with green crackers. And now we're learning in the latest bit of breaking news update that's just come in that the Supreme Court has allowed temporary sale of these crackers. The CGI has referred to the order of October 14, 2024, where Delhi government imposed a complete ban on firecrackers, which was expanded to entire NCR. And this is big news coming in from the Supreme Court. Speaking of how the need of the hour is a balanced approach, Supreme Court allowing temporary sale of crackers, referring to the previous order of 14th October 2024, where the Delhi government had imposed complete ban on firecrackers, which was then extended to the entire national capital region. Bursting firecrackers, though, only permitted from the 18th to the 21st. So just the few days in and around Diwali is when we're going to see this development in the national capital region. It comes with a disclaimer: bursting firecrackers only allowed from the 18th to the 21st. Do remember, a lot of people celebrating Diwali this year on the 20th, some on the 21st. So the crackers, the green crackers are only allowed in the national capital region from the 18th to the 21st. That's the latest bit of breaking news update coming in. Temporary sales of green crackers has been allowed in the national capital region. This is the latest coming in from the Supreme Court. And pretty much on expected lines, because the tone and tenor of the CGI suggested this. And like I said, there's been a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety around this. There's a certain section that essentially was waiting for this verdict, welcoming the prospects of fireworks returning to the skies. Others who are concerned that this is going to add to the air pollution problem that is already being faced by the citizens of the national capital region, with the AQI going up. Supreme Court allowing temporary sales of green firecrackers is what we're learning. Ananya Bhatnagar is sharing these details with us. So breaking down more details of everything that's being sent out by Ananya. The patrol team shall conduct regular checks, is what CJ Gawai said, on green crackers, on the green cracker manufacturers. The QR codes of green crackers will also be uploaded on the website. So this strictly is permission given to green crackers in the national capital region. This is not, or doesn't include, all firecrackers. This nod is coming only for green crackers. The Supreme Court making it amply clear that this permission has only been granted from 18th to the 21st October. This is temporary sale of green firecrackers that we're going to see in the national capital regions. Do remember, traders also were in favor of this. Several traders said that complete ban never works, and bringing back green crackers can curb black marketing. Those are some of the reactions we heard of in the run-up to the Supreme Court judgment. I do want to go across to Shrishti Chaudhary, my colleague, who joins us with more details. Shrishti, you've been tracking the story very closely. How do you look at this? You know, there were mixed reactions in the run-up to the Supreme Court judgment. There's a small window that the Supreme Court has opened up for the residents of the national capital, allowing green crackers only from the 18th to the 21st.
Yes, Kritsveen. So, see, every year during October, the entire Northwest India, especially the national capital region, witnesses a severe deterioration in the air quality, and especially around the period of festivals, Diwali. Now, with Diwali just few days away, the air pollution levels have started to worsen. Now, over the last 24 hours, the AQI has surged to 200. So now it's hovering between poor to very poor category, and that is why the Graded Response Action Plan Stage 1 has come into effect in the national capital. Now, see, over the last few years, experts have been arguing that, you know, these firecrackers, because there is a sudden peak in the air pollution levels, especially around the festival time, because of bursting of firecrackers, which has been completely
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nation at 5. We have some breaking news that's now coming in. This is to do with the surrender of Naxals that is taking place across the country. We're given to understand more Naxals have now surrendered in Chhattisgarh. This is a group of CPI Maoist cadres. At least 50 of them, including 32 women, have now surrendered. This is under the leadership of Rajman Mandvi and Raju Salam that have surrendered. We're given to understand that they have also laid down their arms. 39 weapons have been surrendered to the police, to the BSF in this particular case. This has happened in the Kankeri district in Chhattisgarh. This is just the first tranche of the report that we're given to understand. Several such tranches are expected to take place in the coming few days, beginning tomorrow. That's the latest that we are gathering. Remember, this follows several Maoist cadres laying down their arms in Gadchiroli in Maharashtra. Now we're seeing this report coming to the fore from Kanker in Chhattisgarh. Anand, my colleague, joins us, getting us more details on this. Anand, this is a shot in the arm for the 2026 Naxal Mukt Bharat vision of the government, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and more importantly, it is 50 cadre. So soon after the announcement that was made by Venugopal Rao that they are going to surrender and give up on arms, this is a huge cache of weapons that has been given up, along with the fact that out of the 50 cadre, 18 are women. Who have all surrendered and who have laid down their arms, and we are given to understand that in less than 12 to 15 hours from now, we may have, that is as early as Friday morning, we may have 120 of this cadre also surrendering arms. That means quite literally the entire mid-level and ranks and among the rank and file, all of them are have laid down their arms. Some of them are actually at a level of area or operational commanders area, and who are also training new cadre and responsible for recruitment. So this is perhaps the backbone of this entire Maoist network, which is now laying down its arms. So what now is remaining among the top leadership is also just Hidma and Basavaraju. So we'll have to see what happens on that front. But like you said, yes, a big step towards the goal that has been set for March 2026 of wiping out Naxal terror from the Indian map.
Right, Anand, thank you so much for putting that in perspective and getting us those details. Shifting focus now to the fierce face-off that's brewing in Karnataka. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar has taken on Biocon Chairperson Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw on social media over Bengaluru's pothole menace. DK Shivakumar, the Deputy Chief Minister, has urged citizens to support efforts instead of tearing Bengaluru down. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw hit right back, saying that the plea for better roads and waste management has echoed across successive governments, and this is not a target at just the Congress party. She blamed past inaction for the city's crumbling infrastructure as well, urging the Chief Minister of the state, Mr. Siddaramaiah, and his deputy to hold officials accountable. In response, DK Shivakumar reiterated the government's commitment, saying that smooth traffic has always been the top priority of this government.
There is no match to Bangalore in this entire country.
But at the same time, Kiran Shah and Mohandas, by people like them have also tweeted.
Doing a tweet is killing themselves.
Yeah.
They are hurting their own country and the state, which has helped them. Where they were last 25 years. It is this Bangalore has contributed everything to them. If they want to hurt themselves, it is left to them.
How is the work progressing, sir, as far as pothole filling is?
We are doing our best.
Yes, we are going to compete with other states. It's not a political slugfest. You know, when states compete, India wins. If they are inefficient, what can I do? If their own industrialists are saying that the infrastructure is bad, there's severe power cuts, and they themselves are saying that, then they should first focus on attending to those problems rather than taking on me on Twitter.
ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಜಾಲತಾಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ತೂಚಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಉಗಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕಿರಣ್ ಮಜುಮ್ದಾರ್ ಶಾ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಬಯೋಕಾನ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗಿ ಟೀಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು. ಕಿರಣ್ ಮಜುಮ್ದಾರ್ ಶಾ ಅವರಾಗಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ದಿಗ್ಗಜರು ಇವತ್ತು ಏನು ತಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಸಕಾರಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕೆ ವಿನಃ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಟೀಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವಮಾನ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದಂತೆ.
Harish now joins us, getting us more details on this. Harish, we've seen this fight take place on social media. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw mincing no words. Neither is the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, but it looks like the neighbouring Andhra Pradesh and its government seems to be sensing an opportunity in all of this.
Remember, this has been a pattern, Poonam, ever since Chandrababu Naidu became the Chief Minister and Nara Lokesh became the IT Minister. Every time there has been any issue, we've seen the Andhra Pradesh IT Minister pitching Vijayawada or even Amravati at times as the most suitable location for companies to move out of Karnataka. But Karnataka even today highlighting that even the investment that they've got from Google has been done at a very, very subsidized price. In fact, Karnataka going on to state that Andhra Pradesh perhaps might be at a loss because of these investments. And that's the kind of stance that Karnataka has taken, stating that companies are welcome, but this Karnataka government will not suffer losses for an investment by a private entity. And if you look at the allegations being made by industrialists, whether it's Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw or even Mohandas Pai, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, in fact, today trying to draw distinction, saying that this government has an opportunity to fix issues in Bangalore, but also highlighting that what is being seen now is almost a legacy issue. Successive governments, whether it's the BJP Congress government or even the Congress JDS coalition government or even the BJP government that was there in previous term, all of them have let down Bangalore, and that's the reason why the city is in such a bad shape today. And this government under Sitaramaya and DK Shivakumar have an opportunity to fix it. That's how Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw has spoken today. But
Right.
we've seen reactions coming in. Even Santosh Lat questioning on whether all these industrialists get to say this because there is freedom of expression in Karnataka, and asking if these industrialists would dare question the Modi government.
Right, Harish, thank you so much for bringing us that perspective. We'll have to see how this goes on from here, because we've seen this Karnataka versus Andhra Pradesh fight take place, especially on social media between the two ministers in the recent weeks. Whether one is losing out at the cost of the other, that's something that the jury is still out on. But shifting focus now to what's been transpiring in our neighborhood. Fresh clashes have erupted between Afghan and Pakistani forces. This time, reports are coming in from the Paktika province. There's heavy fighting that is underway. Intense exchanges are taking place in multiple areas along the border areas. This follows deadly skirmishes that were earlier reported from Kandahar and Balochistan. Now, this is a major escalation that we're seeing between the two neighbors. Drone-led Pakistani airstrikes that targeted at least 3 Afghan Taliban posts killed several people, at least 4 reported. Afghan sources have claimed that 12 civilians were also killed. Meanwhile, 4 Pakistani security personnel have also lost their lives. There are 10 civilians that are hospitalized in another area called Chaman. Tensions remain high along the border. Both sides are not just trading fire, they're also trading allegations of who is responsible for this latest clash. So why is this important? What exactly is transpiring? Let's put that in perspective. Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, security analyst, is with us on this broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. How do you look at these developments that are taking place? You know, this contentious border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and it's a long one. This is not the first time that this has been happening. We've seen such skirmishes in the past as well. So what has prompted this kind of intensity this time around?
So this has been warming up for some time, and now it's come to a boil, and I don't think it's at a full scale as of now. There's much more beyond to go. For last about 40, 50 years, Pakistan has invested the American money and their own country's education and everything in Afghanistan, primarily to get Taliban into power, so that they thought they'll have a client state or client government in the neighboring province, neighboring state, for which they're displaced the original communist-led government of Afghanistan. It didn't happen that point of time. They thought they will reconcile on the issues of Durand Line, but what Pakistani government or Pakistani strategic community or deep state has not able to reconcile, that Taliban may be religiously inclined. They may be tribalistic in their thought process and mind. But the fact of the matter is they also are conscious of the security considerations, and they are not likely to give away the national security considerations. So Durand Line, which they wanted to resolve and use Taliban to ensure that their bidding is done, was not done. And then when Americans came back again against Al-Qaeda and against Taliban government, Pakistanis went along with Americans to get after the Taliban for behaving, But all these things have led to one understanding of the Afghan people that Pakistanis cannot be trusted ever. And with the present Taliban establishment having come back again there was a perception, a flawed perception by Pakistanis that they are likely to continue or change their stance and start looking at Pakistan as provide their so-called strategic depth and look at Pakistan for political guidance and military guidance as well. That has not happened, right? And with the nesting of Pak Taliban, because of the issue of the Pashtuns on either side, virtually about nearly 60% Pashtuns are in 50% Pashtuns are on either side. That issue of Pakhtunkhwa, the issue of Pak Taliban, and the strikes which have been going on onto Pakistan through Pak Taliban has been troubling the Pakistani government. In addition to this, if you recall, for last about 2 years, lakhs of Afghans who were settled for nearly 30 to 40 years, either as a refugees or beyond, they were well established and they have been pushed back by the government very, very deliberately and in a very derogatory manner. And this hurts the Afghan, I think, mindset and their ego and such like things. But this airstrike, which they carried out, thinking because the Americans are with them, they had the intelligence, they got the tech from whichever source it is, and they thought they will be able to get away by carrying out the strike on Kabul against the Pak Taliban leader, that is Noor Masood. That has actually fallen back very badly onto them, and I think is going to be a big challenge here and after for some time to come.
Speaking about India, India may not necessarily have a direct say in what's exactly happening right now, but the fact that the strike on Kabul happened when Amir Khan Muttaqi was here in India, India has made no qualms about how ties are deepening between India and Afghanistan. At such a time, should India be worried that there could be a fallout of a larger conflict or what's transpiring on their borders?
So while a lot of people will, there are two statements which have come out very clearly that when the Foreign Minister Muttaqi was here, and that is time it was a deliberate slight which was carried out by the Pakistani government because they were miffed about it. But again, I will put a perspective. My view is that generation of certain intelligence to carry out such a strike is not an easy job, right? One is that. And to coincide it in a manner that the Foreign Minister is coming here and thereafter they'll carry out strike is also not a very, eyesight may be very powerful to send signals by carrying out air strikes. When a foreign minister is visiting abroad to a country which they don't like, is not. It is slightly more difficult to get along. But look at it. What has happened is in last about 2 months or so, while Balochis were frying them before that for a long time, but last 2 months, Pak Taliban has really started hitting the Pakistanis in a big way. And if you see the casualties of security forces, there are virtually about 400 to 500 security forces losses, which has taken place in just about 60 days worth. And that's a huge embarrassment loss. And just a day or two prior to the visit of Muttaqi, there was a strike which was carried out in which 11 soldiers got killed, in which a Lieutenant Colonel Major was involved. And this entire thing was sourced back to Masood. And therefore, I think it was a retaliatory strike which was carried out when they learned that the possibility of taking him out was there. I have a feeling that somebody led them on to carry the wrong strike to create this major friction, which was there, for a few days and thereafter used to subside. But this was an opportunity which was given to the Pakistanis and they were lured in. And this strike has caused a huge polarization in the country of Afghanistan, in which civilians were killed, and the person who was a person of interest, it is still not very clear that was he injured or he's totally safe. But yes, he's not died is one thing very sure. So this, it is just no way, when you carry out border infringement across the border in such a manner, there will not be a response. And the response which has come from Afghanistan is absolutely correct, right, apt. It's a violation of national security interest of a country. And therefore they have struck back. And one thing I must emphasize that while Afghans do not have the conventional power and so-called structures and organization in place as a nation or a country has, but they have got one very big prowess, and that is how to carry out a fight of guerrilla fight, which Pakistanis can just not handle. And we are seeing that how in Balochistan and in KPK, their forces are being forced to leave their post and they are being struck at will by the terrorist. So this is one part, and second is number of Pashtuns which are on this side. They are also a leverage for Afghanistan government, the Taliban government, who can carry out strikes inside Pakistan. So we have seen in last about 3 days, 4 days, the humiliation which has taken place for Pakistan army, Pakistan military, and I am told that yesterday or day before yesterday, Asim Munir has really lambasted the corps commanders and generals. He's humiliated them for absence of intelligence and inability to stop what is happening along the border. And this pushback has been possibly driven against a big ego or anger rather than going on to talk and shaking hand with Taliban and saying that, okay, we did a mistake, we carried out a strike and we are sorry about it. And such a maturity is unlikely to happen in Pakistani establishment as of now.
Would that then prompt intervention from other global factors perhaps, especially China, since they do have a stake in parts of Pakistan, they do have investments in Balochistan? Do you think countries like China or maybe United States and President Donald Trump, who often wants to end wars, as he says, may intervene?
So I'm sorry, I missed out that one question which you had asked about Indian stance. My view on this is that firstly, India doesn't have that much leverage on either side, because on the Taliban side is about ego, about Pashtunwali, about tribal affiliation, about the hurt to the national ego and consciousness. And on the Pakistan side, of course, we don't have a leverage. So to even believe that we are going to enable some sort of a sanity in this area is incorrect. And the fallout of this event, I don't frankly think that fallout is going to be directly impacting us in any way. A lot of people feel that in case something happens, the borders will fall open and people are going to come flooding inside. I frankly don't think it is going to happen. Our engagement with Afghanistan is not military, it is not proxy war, it is not terror, shake hand, it is not about hitting out Pakistan from that side. We are not looking at strategic death or such. It's not there in our culture or thinking, and we have not done it for a long time. And therefore, our contact with Afghans to continue on the people-to-people contact and benign contact, which is important to keep on investing in the population, which has been our civilizational connect. Regarding other powers to come out, I think even today, the Chinese can, of course, Chinese will be concerned today. But frankly, I feel that this will die down in some point of time. Eventually, both sides will understand they do not have the capacity, actually. They may keep on killing each side people, but to have a prolonged conflict in this area, to develop into a war, they'll be very, very foolish. At least the Pakistanis will be very foolish because they are down right now inside and even outside. Their economy is absolutely in bad state. And if they get into a war kind of a condition, they know they are setting up themselves for a major problem, because even they are worried about their eastern front, that is from the Indian side. Right. They may say anything, but the fact of the matter is there is a perception of caution which will be required. Regarding Americans, as of now, I don't think Americans are very much interested. Trump, Nobel Peace Prize conquest and rush has virtually finished. And in any case, Taliban is not going to come out and say Trump has to be nominated. I think Shahbaz Sharif has virtually bent his back downwards, requesting, announcing nomination of Nobel. So actually, the Americans have not yet invested that much. They have invested in technically in Balochistan, and for which I think they will try and arm twist the Balochis in some way or other to allow the investment to fructify. But again, as I said, this will not last in that manner. So there is a time, maybe about a couple of weeks, we'll see this toning down and people come to some degree of sanity, because either of the countries don't have the powers to continue with a major kind of a conflict.
But India will be watching closely nonetheless. But Lieutenant General Pandit, thank you so much for speaking with us here and putting that in perspective for us. We'll keep a track of that and much more here on this edition of Nation at 5. But for now, a quick break.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
learning that Supreme Court has begun pronouncing its judgment on the green cracker row. Do remember, we've seen clearly a divide on green crackers, a mix of anticipation, anxiety that's gripped Delhi Supreme Court, hinting that it may allow the sale of green crackers in the city just a week before Diwali, and that pronunciation has begun of the judgment. We're learning that the CGI said we've considered the submissions by Solicitor General and we have to take a balanced approach. Those are the first few comments that are coming in from CGI Gavai. The court is delivering its verdict. Many residents, remember, welcome the prospects of fireworks returning to the skies. They've called it an essential part of festive celebrations. There is another section, like I said, that's expressed concerns that weak enforcement could once again pave the way for regular, more polluting and noisier crackers, and it'll turn the city into a gas chamber and a boombox. Now, do remember, this also coincides very interestingly with the AQI picking up. The AQI in parts of the National Capital Region has crossed 200 and above. And that's a concern that National Capital Region residents are currently staring at. Comes this judgment by the Supreme Court. The verdict is being pronounced as we speak. The verdict essentially is around green crackers and whether they can be sold during the Diwali festivities in the National Capital. The CGI makes the first few observations. CGI Gavai says we have to take a balanced approach. We've considered the submissions by the Solicitor General. Now, there are green activists who are also speaking or who've broken their silence on this. The permission, if at all, is granted by the tone and tenor of the CGI. This is going to bring back the bursting of crackers within the legal ambit for Diwali, for perhaps other festivals like Gurpurab and Christmas as well. And this is going to happen after 5 long years. Green firecrackers, remember, bring that entire debate back to what it means for air pollution and how limited is really the consequence of this. They're designed to emit 20 to 30% less particulate matter than conventional ones, but the concerns still come with green crackers. And now we're learning in the latest bit of breaking news update that's just come in that the Supreme Court has allowed temporary sale of these crackers. The CGI has referred to the order of October 14, 2024, where Delhi government imposed a complete ban on firecrackers, which was expanded to entire NCR. And this is big news coming in from the Supreme Court. Speaking of how the need of the hour is a balanced approach, Supreme Court allowing temporary sale of crackers, referring to the previous order of 14th October 2024, where the Delhi government had imposed complete ban on firecrackers, which was then extended to the entire National Capital Region. Bursting firecrackers, though, only permitted from the 18th to the 21st. So just the few days in and around Diwali is when we're going to see this development in the National Capital Region. It comes with a disclaimer: bursting firecrackers only allowed from the 18th to the 21st. Do remember, a lot of people celebrating Diwali this year on the 20th, some on the 21st. So the crackers, the green crackers are only allowed in the National Capital Region from the 18th to the 21st. That's the latest bit of breaking news update coming in. Temporary sales of green crackers has been allowed in the National Capital Region. This is the latest coming in from the Supreme Court. And pretty much on expected lines, because the tone and tenor of the CGI suggested this. And like I said, there's been a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety around this. There's a certain section that essentially was waiting for this verdict, welcoming the prospects of fireworks returning to the skies. Others who are concerned that this is going to add to the air pollution problem that is already being faced by the citizens of the National Capital Region, with the AQI going up. Supreme Court allowing temporary sales of green firecrackers is what we're learning. Ananya Bhatnagar is sharing these details with us. So breaking down more details of everything that's being sent out by Ananya. The patrol team shall conduct regular checks, is what CGI Gavai said, on green crackers, on the green cracker manufacturers. The QR codes of green crackers will also be uploaded on the website. So this strictly is permission given to green crackers in the National Capital Region. This is not, or doesn't include, all firecrackers. This nod is coming only for green crackers. The Supreme Court making it amply clear that this permission has only been granted from 18th to the 21st October. This is temporary sale of green firecrackers that we're going to see in the national capital regions. Do remember, traders also were in favor of this. Several traders said that complete ban never works and bringing back green crackers can curb black marketing. Those are some of the reactions we heard of in the run-up to the Supreme Court judgment. I do want to go across to Shrishti Chaudhary, my colleague, who joins us with more details. Shrishti, you've been tracking the story very closely. How do you look at this? You know, there were mixed reactions in the run-up to the Supreme Court judgment. There's a small window that the Supreme Court has opened up for the residents of the national capital, allowing green crackers only from the 18th to the 21st.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nation at 5. Let's get you a quick roundup of what's transpired across the country, beginning with Srinagar, where in a major operation, the Srinagar police conducted a series of raids across the city, targeting individuals associated with banned terror organizations. A total of 13 individuals were targeted, including residents of various localities in the city. Police have seized incriminating material, including documents and digital devices, during this operation. In a tense turn of events, a police vehicle was torched by unidentified protesters outside the Buxa jail in Assam, where 5 individuals accused in the death of Asmi singer Zubin Garg are currently being held. The attack comes amid growing public outrage over the circumstances surrounding Zubin's tragic death in Singapore. Authorities are yet to identify the protesters. Investigation is underway. CBI has arrested Executive Director and Regional Officer of National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited in Guwahati, along with a private individual in a bribery scandal. The accused were caught red-handed accepting a bribe of 10 lakh rupees for issuing favourable extension of time and completion certificates for the 4-laning of NH37, particularly from Demau to Moran bypass. In the latest update in the Durgapur gang rape case, the victim's classmate who was involved in the incident was produced before court today. Following the hearing, the court ordered 7-day police custody for the accused. Authorities are continuing their investigation into the shocking incident. Amritsar Commissionerate Police have successfully busted a cross-border organised arms and narcotics smuggling module with direct links to Pakistan. As part of an intelligence-based operation, police arrested 3 operatives and seized 10 sophisticated pistols and 500 grams of opium. According to authorities, the arms were intended for distribution to gangsters and criminals, fueling illegal activities and unrest in the state of Punjab. On to news from the world of entertainment. Kantara Chapter 1 has taken the global box office by a storm. It has crossed a phenomenal 600 crore mark worldwide. As of now, it is the second highest grossing Indian film of 2025, surpassing the romantic blockbuster Sayara. Even on the 12th day of its release, the Rishabh Shetty starrer continues to earn rave reviews for its powerful storytelling and stunning visuals. I'm leaving you with that.
जिस तरह डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है, ठीक उसी तरह कांतारा चैप्टर 1 को बॉक्स ऑफिस पे रोकना मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है. The Rishabh Shetty directorial has been adding one achievement after another to its kitty with each passing day. The latest one being it becoming the second highest grossing film of 2025 so far. Yes, the film has toppled the romantic blockbuster Sayara to grab the coveted spot and now stands behind only Chhava in terms of collection. According to a report by Saknilk, Kantara Chapter 1 enjoyed a thunderous response on its second weekend as well, earning rupees 39 crore on its second Saturday and rupees 39.75 crore on Sunday, thus bringing its weekend collection to rupees 78.75 crore. Even on Monday, the film earned an impressive rupees 13.5 crore and its total domestic collection now stands at rupees 451.9 crore. Globally, the film has earned rupees 600 crore so far, leaving Sayara behind that had earned rupees 570.67 crore worldwide. Not just that, it has also beaten the domestic collections of blockbusters such as Rajnikant's Jailer, Bahubali The Beginning and Salar Part 1 Ceasefire. Looks like Rishabh Shetty's hard work has truly paid off. On Monday, the actor took to his Insta account to give the fans a sneak peek into what went into making the blockbuster sequel. Sharing pics of his swollen feet, Rishabh wrote, "This was during the climax shoot. A swollen leg, an exhausted body. But today, the climax has become something that millions watch and admire."
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. After Karnataka, now the hijab row and debate is disturbing classrooms in Kerala. A controversy erupted at St. Rita's Public School in Kochi after an 8th grade Muslim student insisted on wearing hijab inside school premises and was subsequently denied entry. Matter escalated to such an extent that the school had to file a police complaint seeking protection from